Well, Nigeria's Monetary Policy Committee kicks off its first meeting of the year today, and according to analysts, issues including foreign exchange rate and measures to keep inflation in check will be top on the agenda for members. Now, for an outlook into what to expect ahead of the announcements tomorrow and an outlook for today's trading session, I'm now being joined in the studio by Ayodeji Ebo. He's the head of research at Afrinvest Securities. Thank you so much, Ayodeji, for taking the time out to join us. Now, the biggest market event this week is a Monetary Policy Committee meeting. 12 members will gather today in Abuja to decide. They're going to look at the economic indicators, look at the economy since the last time they met. Now, we understand that, of course, they'll be looking at things like GDP, inflation, the Naira, foreign exchange reserves, but the general consensus has been that they will continue to, monetary tightening will continue. The MPR will be left at 12%.
Yes, we agree with the general consensus that key rates will be retained at current levels, because when we look at it, what the CBN will be considering, one is looking at the major two objectives they've been pursuing in the last dispensation of the Sanusi has been price stability and exchange rate stability. So firstly, when you look at price stability, inflation rate, which averaged at 8.5 last year, has still been within the CBN band, that's a single-digit rate. Then two, when you look at the foreign exchange stability, even during the tapering speculations, the Naira was still able to weather the storm, and there have been a form of stability in the interbank segment of the foreign exchange market.
Now,
but when you look at...
Sorry to butt in here. Now, every analyst I have spoken to considering this month's meeting, they've all said that, the MPR will be left at 12%. Is there no room? Is nobody leaving any room for any surprises?
Yeah, in addition to that, if you are going to, the CBN they also be, or the MPC will also be considering what will happen between now and March, the next meeting. So you don't expect any major shocks, any major events that will happen. The Fed will be having their meeting on the 29th, which is also going to help shape the direction of what
the U.S. Federal Reserve. The
U.S. Fed Reserve will be having its meeting on the 29th of this month. So those are part of those things the CBN or the MPC committee will be considering before they will be able to take any action. They won't want to destabilize the equilibrium which the economy has enjoyed in the past month.
Okay, let's fingers crossed on that. We'll see how that plays out tomorrow when the members come out with their decision. Now let's talk about the Basel II. Now in June this year, we understand that the minimum capital adequacy computation under Basel II rules will commence for Nigerian banks. Now, perhaps for the tier 1s, the tier 2s, how is that going to play out for them? Where do Nigerian banks stand when it comes to the Basel II, looking at their capital adequacy ratio compared to their credit risk exposure?
Yeah, this is a welcome development, because the Nigerian banks have been trying to play in the international space. So with the adoption of the Basel II, it will be able to help the bank access more fund at a cheaper rate. Rating will be easier for some of these banks, and part of what it will play out to, what Basel will do to you is, if we are doing capital expansion, the kind of risks you have to get a capital that is required for you to be able to play in that space. So you assess your risk at each particular time to allow you to ascertain the capital requirement for that particular kind of risk. There are banks that are expanding, going outside the offshore shore of this country. So they will require, they won't just be expanding based on the capital based on what CBN has stated.
Is it going to cut across all the banks, the tier 1s, the tier 2, the banks?
Yeah, the tier 1, tier 2, all the banks will want to adopt it, because they will want to play and also want to meet up with the global standard.
So what is that one overriding benefit for Nigerian banks? Yeah,
the overriding benefit, it helps them access cheaper funds, because they will look at it, if you have done your capital assessment based on the Basel II, which is well recognized, we can be able to, the risk is minimized. They're able to ascertain that this bank, where our fund will be secured even if we give to them. So they may even be able to access more credit line, and it's going to something that will help the banks. Okay,
well, that's good news. So let's look at the equities market for 2014. I've been talking to different analysts about what their outlook is for this year. Now, Afrinvest also has quite a robust outlook for this year. You're saying that by the end of this year, the market should closed around 35 to 39%. That's around 57,000 points. But you said that ultimately the market direction will be determined by the central bank meetings, the Nigerian Central Bank, the U.S. Federal Reserve, and perhaps the European Central Bank. Why did you hinge your outlook on that?
Yeah, when you look at the Nigerian stock market, based on the last report released by the Nigerian Stock Exchange, about 50% are foreign players in the market. So you cannot try and dissociate from any foreign happenings in the market. So it's going to really have a role to play. Looking at, based on analyst expectation, that the tapering in the U.S. will be by $10 billion. There will be by $10 billion at each meeting. They will be trying to taper by $10 billion. But if we expect, if there's going to be any shock, if it's above what analysts have speculated, is really going to cause a spark.
Do you think that both Nigerian investors and foreign investors who invest in our equities markets are already beginning to price that in anticipation?
Yes, yeah, you discover that normally if you look at for the past 5-6 years, January has always been a very bullish month. But this year, as last year, the index was around over 4%. But this year, it's just done a little bit above about 1%, which when you look at it, that people are just trying to adopt a wait and see what will come out of all these policies.
Okay, I guess wait and see it is. So we're going to have to we'll also keep our fingers crossed on that and see how it all plays out, as the year goes on. Thank you so much, Ayodeji Ebo, for being here and sharing your thoughts with us.